You are listening to the No Invite Podcast.
Season 3.
The progression.
Follow us on Instagram at no_invite_podcast or look us up on YouTube at No Invite Podcast.
The best kept secret.
Bang, we in this thing, No Invite Podcast, Season 3, Episode 67. It's the Level Up. Y'all already know what it is. And we got another special guest in here. He's alumni now. He been on more than once. And it's definitely we had to do it again. So how you doing? We got Bundy in here from Dope Flavors. What's going on?
What's happening, man? What's happening? I said mines.
I said mines as well. You know, we in this thing, bro. No Invite Podcast, moving and growing, trying to give people consistency to the best of our ability.
For sure.
You know, consistency is key in anything you're doing out there, people. So if you don't know, go ask somebody. But we're here. It's a new year. I think to believe this is the second episode of the new year. How is your new year going so far for you, bro?
New year is consistent, keeping busy. You know, trying to stay strong and healthy, mind, body, and soul.
You definitely got to try to stay healthy because what's going on out there. It's moving around, you know what I'm saying? It's circulating.
Not just physically, bro, mind and soul as well, man, because it's all one big trifecta.
Yeah, and a lot of people, especially our people, they underestimate the importance of mental health. You know, the importance of taking breaks and you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you know, 9 times out of 10 you work and you got your business on the side or whatever, or maybe the business is the totality of what you're doing, but it's a lot more demanding than a 9 to 5 by itself. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, you're the boss, but you got to also learn how to give yourself a break. You know, there's a reason why jobs have days off. Vacation time and shit like that. And I see a lot of people that are in their entrepreneur state of mind and doing their things, but I don't see a lot of them giving themselves breaks.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's when you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, it's like there's no days off. Like if you're really passionate, you really on your hustle, you really try to strive to grow and scale your business. You're thinking about your business and you're thinking about innovating like 24/7. Yeah. So like with me, I just keep it down to the basics and breathing exercises. Like breathing, like sometimes you forget to breathe and you get short breath and you're doing so much and that's what kicks up your anxiety. So if you focus on your breathing, your win, that's what you need to go about your day, to live as a human being. People forget about the simple things, man. And I think breathing, I do that with meditation, but I think if people just kind of took a step back and be like, okay, let's let's take a deep breath, let's calm down, let's get in a better mental state, and I find that's what helps me.
It's definitely helpful. It's always helpful to sit back and give yourself some perspective and definitely focus on yourself. A lot of people out there going through a lot of different situations and stuff like that. It's very difficult out there. It's very beautiful out there. Don't get me wrong. The world is a beautiful place, but it's also very much a very hectic place at times. So me personally, I tell people all the time, man, do the things, the maintenance for yourself. That way you can be better at what it is that you're trying to do. So if it's your exercise, if it's your meditation, if it's just taking time out for the little things for yourself, don't forget to do that. We all know we got to do our 9 to 5. We all know we got to do our businesses and we got to continue to run it. Like you said, there's no days off, but you got to take a little time for yourself, even if it's something as small as, like you said, as just taking a breath.
Yep. Breathing air, breathing dope flavors, or breathing in nature, man.
Yeah.
For sure. Dope flavors, man.
Yes, sir. So we in this thing, man. Episode 67, we're really at a higher rate than that, but season 1 was kind of a test run, to see if people will be interested enough for us to continue to do it. Because, mean, doing one thing every day is one thing, but doing one thing once a week and having consistency is different, especially when you're trying to bring people together. So,
for sure. Like,
shout out to Ann, shout out to Patty, 16th World. They definitely have been holding me down and helping me level up and progress when it comes to this season 3. We're at episode 67. I'm very proud that we've been able to have some consistency, because consistency is very important, man. A lot of people,
it's hard too.
It's hard, man. It's very hard. it's difficult because it's real easy after a while to get complacent. It's real easy to be like, I'll do it. I'll get to it. I do it all the time, and and that's where that self-discipline comes in. You know, you got to have a lot of self-discipline in 2022, especially with all the obstacles out there and everything that goes on. You definitely got to have some self-discipline. If you could have self-discipline, I feel like there's not much that you can't accomplish because you could aim your focus on things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's good, man. It's good to have you back in the building, bro, and it's good to know that
thanks again for having me, bro. Appreciate it.
Off top, man, you know this platform is yours, man. Whenever you want to come by and just whatever, you know what I mean, express some thoughts, plug some products, whatever the case might be, man, the door's always open for you. You know what I'm saying? The welcome's always there. I know
invite.
It's exactly. It's called no invite, but for a lot of people that don't know, it's because it's an open door policy. I'm not gonna invite you. All you gotta do is just come say you want to fuck with me. And if I invite you, it's because of course, you know what I'm saying. It's not even that it's an invite. It's more like, you know, just a reminder. Like, yo, at any time, come through. It's good. So we're gonna do what we always do. We're gonna keep the format. Last time it was more conversation. This time we're gonna you're gonna jump into the no invite world, and we're gonna do it how we do it on a normal, regular, everyday thing.
Come on.
And we're gonna jump into the here and now. And the here and now is basically where we give our perspective on a couple current events. You know what I mean? Talk that pod talk and just really get into it. So 3 men convicted for life sentences for the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. You know what I mean? 2 of them got life with no parole. 1 got life with the possibility of parole. Are you surprised?
Really, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't wish life upon nobody. You know
Facts.
what I'm saying? Just because I faced those charges before, you know, my Brody is, you know, fighting his case right now still, fighting appeal, man. So free Tar, free all my loved ones, man, and shit off top. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just what's right is right at the end of the day. And then, you know, just due to the video, like, I'm not going to go too much into it, but due to the video, man, it's like, you know, it's like you can't just go out there and just assume people are doing wrong. You know what I'm saying?
It's pretty obvious in the video.
It is pretty obvious. And you know what? And it's, you know, you could blame these people who just got charged, who just got life or whatever, bro. But, you know, you also, everybody should really just take a step back and see, you know, how were they raised? What were their influences? You know what I'm saying? And we know what they are, or could, you know, safely assume what they were, you know, in the South like that, or in that part of America.
What they grew up.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So everything's a learning lesson, bro, and they just got to learn that lesson. And really, it's an example for the rest of the world. It's an example for the rest of the country. It's that, you know, people are going to be held accountable nowadays, especially when it comes to, you know, civil rights, social justice, equal justice. So, you know, like I said, I don't wish life upon nobody or those type of situations upon nobody, but, you know, justice got to be served, you know, for a greater good and a greater example, especially when it comes to persons of color. Definitely.
And it's definitely one of those things where it was pretty obvious. It was pretty obvious, and it wasn't like, you know, it was a reach. You know, I mean, I in my opinion, you know what I mean? It was a surprise. But then again, the way the tides are turning, the way things have been going lately, they actually have been holding people accountable for things like that. And it's like, yo, I went and did my time. I went and got locked up. I don't wish life upon nobody at all. But at the same time, like you said, it has to be some kind of accountability. It has to be an example made, because this is for anybody out there that had any questions on why Trump's rhetoric was so dangerous. It wasn't, you know, his business or the way he ran the country. It was his rhetoric that was dangerous. It was it was the people that he inspired to do ridiculous shit. And then not only that, it's like anything else. People take things and they interpret it their own way. So if he says something and he encourages something, they run with it and they take it to an extreme. And now, like, I noticed, and I don't know if it's maybe, you know, because all we know is what the media shows us anyways, all forms of media. But I noticed that since he's been out of office and a lot more people have been getting held accountable, a lot of these crazy, like, situations that have occurred have been met with, what's it called? They've been met with some kind of accountability. You dig what I'm saying? So that's how things become dangerous. You know, that's how, you know, he was getting people inspired to do the wrong shit.
He was enabling, like, for me, in my perspective, enabling, like, white nationalism.
Exactly.
You know, and you know, just like how people were doing in like I want to say the 50s and the 60s, where you know, you have you have white people yelling in the faces of black people, treating them as, undesirables or treating them as second-class citizens.
Exactly.
And it's like, we're all American here. So what's the problem? What's the issue? Just because, your relatives and generations before you have been privileged, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, aren't we in the land of the free? Aren't we in the land of the equal? Where's liberty? You know what I'm saying? And like, just reflecting on those on that situation, you got to put yourselves in other people's shoes as well, man. And not a lot of people do that. Yeah. They're just like, they're going off of rhetoric. They're going off of what they see on the multimedia. They're going off of what their families and what their peers have been teaching them, And it just sucks because, there is a right and there's a wrong way. And then you just have a mix and match full of things. And, it can get in the way.
And see, the thing is that if people wonder, a lot of the rhetoric and a lot of stuff like that, it of course it ain't like, go do this. It wasn't a direct call to arms, but when you, like you said, when you enable people, when you leave things vague and you leave it up for interpretation for people are always gonna assume the worst. You know what I mean? And they're always gonna want to do something that's out of pocket, regardless. And I noticed that, and that's what made things dangerous, because I really believe that the climate that we were in at the time that Mr. Arbery was murdered was like that. That was the climate. That was the president. That was, what was going around, the riots, the protests, and everything like that. And, people felt like it was okay.
For sure. I think we should, I looked up the definition of rhetoric. I think, that's for people who don't know, who don't know the term or whatever. Rhetoric is the art of effective or persuasive speaking or writing, especially the use of figures or speech and other compositional techniques. Exactly. So they're pretty much premeditating how they're crafting their speech, their writing toward pretty much like a certain way, or they have like a certain mission or cause behind it, whether it's positive or negative. So I just wanted to share the definition of that for our listeners.
The definition is very important because you got to understand what things do, things say, and it's very important to understand what comes out of your mouth, like, because people don't realize that what you say has an impact. Their vibes. You're putting it out there in one way or another, and you're right. Like, Trump is a master manipulator, and he knew what he was doing. He knew that he could say certain things and leave it vague, and and he knew what they were going to assume by it. He knew that what they were going to go out and do. So
he's a television man.
He played his fan base like a fiddle, and even now there's a video where people are pissed off at him because he said, "Yeah, I got the vax. Yeah, it's good for you," and this and that and other. And a lot of his base is pissed off, and I'm just like, yo, you guys should have known that already, man. Regardless. It's the people where the power lies at, and as long as the people are divided, as long as they're able to drive a wedge in between the masses, it's always going to be like that. It don't matter if it's Biden, it don't matter if it's Trump, it's whoever. See, Biden is different. He's a little, he's not more of the vocal type. He's not going to try to whip people into a frenzy. What he's going to try to do is lull you to death. You feel me? He's going to make you feel like everything's all right and everything's comfortable. Now, I'm not anti-government. I'm not anti-America. I love this country. I feel like we are in a privileged place just being here compared to other countries. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and tell y'all that everything is perfect and we're just la 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 and we're far from it. You know what I mean? And it's the problems that from the inside that are really affecting us and hurting us the most, So I'm more unity and less bullshit when it comes to that. Rest in peace to Ahmaud Arbery. Condolences to his family. I know this is difficult. I mean, there's really no justice for them at all. I don't think. I mean, this might be justice or considered justice, but when you lose somebody like that, there's really nothing to do. It's never gonna bring them back. It's never gonna change the way you feel. So rest in peace to them, to him, and hopefully, this brings them some sort of peace. And for all y'all out there, just like I said, just be careful with people's rhetoric, even mine. I tell people all the time on this podcast, bro, it's like anything that I say to you, take it with a grain of salt. Yep. Go do your research and go find out the truth to the best of your ability. Don't just run with what I'm saying. I say a lot of comedy shit, but I also give my opinion on things, and that's what it is. It's an opinion.
Is important. Your opinion is important. What your observation is and your opinion on it. What I like to tell people too is like, you know what, you gotta you got to be savvy on the terms that they using on the TV, on the radio, and then you got to know the strategies involved on the back end, what they trying to do. Rhetoric being one of them, and you gotta be up on those hypocrisies, bro. Just like with how you said the Trump hypocrisy, he was anti-vax. He was finding other ways of treatment at first. So he went with treatment before he got the vax when he did catch COVID the first time, and then now you catch a hypocrisy because now he's all of a sudden he's pro-vax. So just catching those small things and just being aware of it.
And we could have a whole list about that dude and all the hypocrisy he did, but we could also bust a whole list out for the current administration as well. But we're gonna keep it moving because we ain't got time for that. And during those times when I was doing podcasts and stuff, and there was always something that he would say that was foul, especially because to me it was always the disrespect. It wasn't the way he ran the country, more or less. Because if we're talking about business wise, he was doing his shit.
Yeah, I agree.
But as far as like the divisiveness. The way that he was driving the wedge between people, the way
internally.
He was working, exactly, the way he was working his fan base to, because he knows that, what do you call that? When you work somebody into a frenzy, that shit, you're able to mobilize people like that. You're able to with that mob mentality, you're able to move mountains and get things done, but at what cost?
Hence January 6th.
Hence January 6th, and that just passed right now too. And even now, it's like I don't like how they're trying to make it like a 9/11 situation where they're remembering, and it's like, come on, man, stop that.
Milking.
The news system, has taken a big hit ever since Trump has not been in office, and it's because and it's been proven it's because obviously sensationalism sells, advertisement time. You dig? So
advertising is the biggest. They making dough off these big corporate media outlets and networks, and it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the strategy, and at the end of the day, you got to follow the money because it's all about new streams of revenue and where the revenue is coming in the most from. Yeah,
and people, like I said, if you think that your best interests are the first thing on their list, it's really not. It's the profit comes first. And then obviously your interests come in somewhere in there, but it's not at the top because at the end of the day, it's like the Matrix. We're their batteries. So if for all the people saying they want to enslave us and put us in Walmarts and FEMA and shit, it's like, bro, I don't think they want to do that because at the end of the day, we're their money. We're their cash cow. Exactly. What they want to do is keep us lulled in a state of a confusion so that they could keep making money off us.
I think in extreme conditions, they might have little plans like that on the back end, in case of hypotheticals, just like they run hypotheticals with COVID. That's how COVID was developed. Like, okay, let's put us in a situation of a mass pandemic scenario, and that's why we're gonna make this COVID strain stronger so we can continue to fix it. And it leaked.
Oh, here we go. Exactly. and look, I'm never one to bag on conspiracies or nothing like that, but it's just more like I'm a observant person, so if I hear something like that, then I'm gonna watch and I'm gonna look for the signs because there's been a lot of things that people called conspiracy that were actually true. But I'm definitely not gonna run out and fucking for everything and just have a reaction for everything because I think that's where people fuck up, especially with social media and the news and everything else. Is like you see something on there, boom, you're quick to run and react, and it's like you don't even bother to question it or even bother to do any research about it. You're just like, oh, this is law. Can't do that. Same thing with me with my platform. You come here, you hear me say something or any kind of news or anything, question it. I welcome you to question it. And I could be wrong. Shit, I'll be the first to admit it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is law and start foaming out the mouth and you know what I mean? Like,
debate is very important. Debating is very important, whether it's the truth, you're trying to seek the truth, when it's policy or anything, current times and, different people's perspectives. But that's another thing that I heard that I liked recently is that, they're quick to label, oh, it's a conspiracy theory or he's a conspiracy theorist. But I've heard an alternative to conspiracy theorists, and it's called a truth seeker. And I think that's a better term and a better label for people just trying to seek the truth because that's what we're trying to do at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, that's what people want, and I feel like that's the reason why they're so willing to buy into certain things because obviously the government never had a really great track record to begin with.
Of course,
but also because you have a general idea when you're being lied to, but things just don't make sense. Some shit just doesn't make sense, and they say to you like even the whole entire COVID thing don't fucking make sense. You know what I mean? The way they dealt with it.
You pick up on the hypocrisies.
And you see it, and that's what turns people on to that more, you know. And the danger in that is that disinformation is a form of control.
Yeah.
So if we're not careful, and we're like I said, a lot of those people, whether we want to admit it or not, the QAnon and the people that stormed the Capitol and shit, a lot of them were led by false information and by rhetoric.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They felt like they were doing the right thing,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, it's like, yo, that the same thing you guys are doing are the same thing that we were condemned and disgraced for doing, you know, rioting and picking up and going, and you know what I mean, oh, you guys ain't real Americans, you guys, I mean, the rhetoric was out there. Mm-hmm. So, you know, a lot of times people just got to remember, it's like, educate yourself. I always tell people, educate yourself, learn about the things that you're passionate about, and make sure that if you're out there that you're not helping spread disinformation, because that shit is very, very dangerous. You know, the information is out there, but I have a theory. I've been saying it on the podcast for a while. Is that we live in the age of information, right?
Yep.
And then now, anything that we want, the keys to everything are out there. There's no way the government could hide them or keep them from you no more. Back in the day, they used to burn libraries to keep the information to getting out there. So what they do is they make the fundamentals, the things that those keys to success in life, they make them seem corny. Mm-hmm. They paint them in a bad light. What's it called? You know, a full household, a complete household, mother and father, son. They make the dad look like a bozo. They make the mom look like overbearing, or sometimes they paint them in a bad light. Mm-hmm. Because they want to make it corny.
I think they want to make it relatable, and they have like a certain persona for the American family, or like mm-hmm. the average mom or the average dad, and yeah, they go off of those type of
and they do, and it's like a lot of times it's like, why is the dad got to be a bozo? Why is the mom got to be the fucking angry fucking chef, or whatever the case might be? And it's because I feel like in order for them now, anyone to hide the information, they got to make it look corny, so where people just don't even want to fuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
Or they're targeting certain audiences. Like they are targeting that angry mom, or they are targeting, you know, the bozo dad, or they are targeting the kids that have to deal with the angry mom or a bozo dad, or other examples of different family type of personas and things like that.
And it's just about that's just like one example, but I mean, we could go into countless stuff. You know what I mean? The fundamentals in life, they're always going to try to paint them corny, in my opinion, just because
commercials are the biggest. They're the ones that do that the most.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's because, you know, once again, they want to keep you consuming, keep you your mind busy, and not asking too many questions. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna keep it moving, of course. The IRS is trending after their protocol for stolen items and illegal activities go viral.
Oh, yeah.
And first of all, I just want to say, bro, don't be stupid. Don't be out there doing all the wrong shit, and then all of a sudden decide tax season comes and you want to do the right shit. You're not going to get a return for that.
But you know, that's how, you know what, scammers be victorious in this all the time. Yeah. Like online or whatever, they will get people to fall for it. But you know what? The IRS is throwing that little okie doke. Like, don't forget to write off your drug sales and your stolen property. Items and there probably is gonna be some bozos out there trying to write off their shit, and they gonna have a rude awakening.
Unfortunately, yes. And I seen it, and at first I thought it was like a joke, but then it's actually turned out to be true. It's on their website.
But that's how strong social media is. That's how strong the information. Yeah. And you know, putting out a warning like that, people are gonna be scared and be like, "Oh shit, maybe I should."
It's a thing, so it's real, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Once again, it's like, yo, if you're out there, you're living that kind of lifestyle, man. Save your money.
For sure.
Find a way to get out of that lifestyle, you know, and to be able to transition into a legitimate lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But most importantly, don't be stupid. Don't be dumb. Like when I was in my heyday, when I was making money and shit, I could have started multiple businesses. You know, I'm talking about, this is at least like good 15, 20 years ago. I could have started business, could have did a lot of shit. And I look back, it's like, I done blew a lot of fucking money doing stupid shit. Like,
on stupid shit
and the wrong stuff. And I didn't have nothing to show for it. When it came down to the end, it's like, I could have did a lot. Now thinking about what all the money I had back then and thinking about now, it's like, fuck, I could have did way more shit. I could have had a few businesses going and established, you know? Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the IRS, bro, because they got not only that, with them saying don't forget to report your stolen goods and your illegal activity. But now PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, now they have to report, or they are reporting transactions over $600 or more to the IRS. And that's kind of like, people are like, oh shit, like I don't want to use these platforms, or oh man, cash only now. Yeah. I mean, for our trappers out there, you should already know off top what isn't said should already be understood. But if you are transitioning into legitimate business, if you do have a legitimate business, this is part of your bookkeeping. This is part of your record keeping. Yeah. And you know what? Most of these expenses, or what you're spending, or if you're paying through Zelle or PayPal, or if you're receiving money, could be deductions or tax write-offs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you do need that bookkeeping to be a healthy business, to have a healthy infrastructure and operation. Yeah. And you could use that to your advantage for your business. That's how you build credit. You know what I'm saying?
Especially that you generate this amount of money.
Exactly, revenue. And you know what? So there, you just got to be, like you said, you got to be educated. You got to be aware of what it really is, and just not go off of social media trying to condemn or make it seem like, oh shit, the man is doing this to us now. Well, it's like, you know what? I'm surprised he hasn't already done that.
I'm surprised as well, neither. And I'm surprised when I looked at what the ceiling was before. It was $20,000 worth of transactions. I'm like, yo, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I just found that out too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And see, the thing is that you're right. If you're in the entrepreneur space, aspiring or transitioning, and you gotta understand that eventually you're gonna have to do your taxes, bro. There's no way around it. You know what I mean? And if you wanna keep it cash only, and you're not trying to get to that point, I mean, yeah, but you just know that you're not gonna grow past a certain point. You know what I mean? And for you to grow and for your business to grow, you're gonna have to take it to another level, obviously. And part of that is gonna be like paying your fucking taxes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, you don't have to report that you made a profit, because if you didn't, you didn't. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to report it for your small business or whatever, but that hurts you because eventually, when you want to take out a loan or whatever the case might be, you're not going to have no proof of income. You're not going to be like, yo, they're going to be like, you had this business 3 years, you ain't made profit once. Yep. So it's a good way for you when you're starting to, save money, but eventually, even then, you're going to have to start reporting your profits. You're going to have to start doing that because you're going to need to level up at some point. And if you don't have any kind of income, if your business doesn't have any proof that it's been making money, then you could forget about a loan. You could forget about investors. They're going to want to see your books and be like, hey, well, what you make last year? What you make? If you can't, I report no profit. I report no...
What's your gross? What's your net? What's your credit score like? What's your sales pitch is? And you know what? It's and at the end of the day, what I've learned as an entrepreneur, especially as of recently, kicking off with dope flavors and on top of the other businesses,
kicking it all the way off.
I mean, it's you want to be a savvy taxpayer at the end of the day because it's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time too, this is what's gonna elevate you as a business, being in good standing, like with credit and everything that you just said.
Yeah, you got to be. I mean, and if you're not, that's not where you're at. You just want, you got your small business. You want to do this and that, and you want to stay at a certain level. I could dig it, but when you see these things pop up, don't be scared, man. That's the thing. The most thing that bothers me about our people is that they'll see that stuff and it automatically turns them off and it scares them. In the business aspect, it's like, yo, this is what you want. You want to be able to, even if they didn't do that, you want to be able to grow your business. You want to be able to make things legitimized to the fullest, so you don't have to worry about later. You don't have to worry about getting it all took from you because you were bad on your taxes, or you ain't do this, or you ain't do that. Yeah. So
you got to be savvy. And then there's a viral video going on right now where somebody's manager is talking about how he got his chain written off on his taxes. And that's what I mean by being a savvy taxpayer is, you have this individual who he has his own company. He has his company brand on his chain. So he's able to write that off as a costume expense. Yeah. So you got a 10, 20K piece around your neck, but it's all for promoting and marketing when it comes to your brand, your LLC, your S Corp. Mm-hmm. And those are 100% tax write-offs. Like you win it on that. And it takes being savvy and and business savvy to understand those loopholes in our tax system so we can win at the end of the day, because they ain't going to tell us how to do that. They want us to pay as much taxes as they want us to, state and federal. But when we're savvy in doing doing being savvy taxpayers and being savvy in these type of taxes and writing things off. Like that's how we're gonna win at the end of the day, is that education.
It's the education, man, for me, you know, and like you said, and I think we said it last time, you know, when we're doing the podcast, it's like, you know, America's built like that. Mm-hmm. If they just gave everybody all the keys to everything and they showed them all the little routes and everything like that, it would be chaos, because everybody would, it's built on obviously like hierarchy, whatever, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to give you the tools, but they're out there for you, and it's up to you to go find them.
Yep.
They're there. They're out there. You know, they're not going to give them to you though. They're not going to just let, you know, how they say everybody can't do it is because everybody doesn't go and do the research.
They playing, to me, it's like is damage control, because they have all this money. Say they have all this money for less fortunate, homeless, foster youth, formerly incarcerated. They got all this money for programs. It's in a general fund somewhere. Mm-hmm. But, you know, they'll do what they need to do or what they have to do to advertise it. But if nobody's coming for it, it's going to sit in this general fund. And usually that general fund is paying bonuses. Is being reinvested into stocks and bonds for the city or the organization, and they're flipping that money. They're flipping it, even though it's supposed to be for a different cause or for different individuals. So
it's all built. The system, the way it's built, is built for a reason. It's a capitalist society that we live in. So you have to learn how to function within it. I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to agree with that. I was like, look, man, you don't gotta have the same beliefs, but you got to learn how to play the game. You feel me? To a certain extent. If you want to go where, you know, certain places that you want to go. I mean, if you're content with where you're at and what you're doing in your life and how it's working out, then that's fine. You know what I mean? More power to you. I don't ever knock nobody.
Happy,
if you're happy and you're feeding your family and you're taking care of business, then more power to you. But for those people that have aspirations, like you said, entrepreneurship, ownership, generational wealth, I mean, these are the things that the fundamentals you have to learn.
The American dream, but it comes with trenches. It comes with you know, ups and downs.
It ain't no clear road to it.
For sure not.
Okay, so look, that we got that going on. IRS is fucking crazy. You know what I mean? They out of pocket right there. They're trolling really, but it's really not trolling. It's really that's how they feel, and they really, if they're like, yo, if we could snag a couple people and stuff like that, if we could get a couple people.
They know how social media works, you know, they a government entity. They're all in cahoots, and
you know what the fuck they doing. So I got one more, you know what I mean, and this was kind of different, you know what I'm saying, but it's all business related. Dr. Dre agrees to pay his ex-wife Nicole Young $100 million in divorce settlement, which raises the question, is it cheaper to keep her?
Shit, not mentally and spiritually, I'll tell you that, but damn near even physically, he might be getting, you know, abused domestically. So it's like, just shit, you got bees, you know, especially after the Apple move with the beats and all that. It's just cut that bitch a check and get the fuck out, you know, live on with your life. And, you know, once something isn't like a loving or a humble asset to you, and you know the feelings and the energy is not mutual no more. Like, you know, they button heads. Like she attacking him. She wants his money, wants position, and that's all part of the court game right there. Mm-hmm. So obviously, you know, there ain't no good that's gonna come about it no more with their relationship. Mm-hmm. Just gotta cut ties, man. Gotta make that boss move and just boom. Then, you know, he's on his own, and he's focusing on all the things he should be focusing, rather than, you know, dwelling and remaining stagnant in the negative. You know,
and forcing something that's not there no more. Like,
for sure.
I don't believe in the cheaper to keeper thing at all. You know what I mean? Just because, you know, like if the love is gone, there's no more building to do with each other. That's your son's mother. You always go. I mean, that's the mother of your children. You're gonna always want her to be good, no matter what. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't want to give her control of your businesses, which is understandable, because you obviously work hard to get to that point. But you're gonna always want to make sure that she's good somehow, some way. Especially if she's still in good standings with your kids. Like, you know, it's different if your son's mother doesn't take care of your kids and you do. Then that's a whole different thing. But even then, you got money like that. Like a while ago, they were talking about how Dr. Dre don't fuck with his daughter no more, and they're saying that, and he cut her off financially, and a lot of people were cooking him online for it. But I'm the type of person that's like, well,
That's all personal, man.
That's all personal, and you don't know what the relationship is. You don't know what
the back end.
Yeah, what if she, what if him giving her money is enabling her to do things that hurt her? You can't money can't fix everything. I know people say that it doesn't fix everything. Money is a tool.
You can't be quick to judge.
Exactly. So, I mean, more power to him. I just wanted to put it out there, because people need to know, a lot of people were cooking him over that too. Like, oh, he a sucker. He gave her $100 million. I'm like, bro, he got bees, bro. $100 million is light to him.
Yep. Light to him, making sure that it goes to the right spot, for his kids or the well-being, whatever the situation or their terms and conditions are with that as far as the divorce and custody or whatever. But at the same day, peace of mind.
Yeah,
bro, that's like what's worth it at the end of the day is peace of mind.
That's your kid's mom, man. Peace of mind. You want to know if something happens to me, at the very least, they're gonna be fine. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And, because also when you're somebody of that much stature and stuff like that, it's like you never know what people's intentions are after you go. You don't know what kind of vultures are out there plotting on what you got and everything like that. So you want to make sure, to me, like the ultimate peace for me is gonna be when I know that my wife, my child, and my family is secure. Once I could get that for them, then I feel like I made it. And when I could secure their finances and just them in general, then I know that I made it and I did the right thing. So shout out Dr. Dre, man. He got $100 million. Shoot me 50, bro.
It ain't nothing.
Work. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Balloons to a blimp.
You know what I'm saying?
Lobster to mobsters.
Come on now. So we're gonna keep it moving. That was the here and now. We got the segment on the show where it's called "We're Gonna Put You Up on Game," and basically all it is letting you guys know what we got going on. We got a lot of Bundy got a lot of shit going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off with you. What you got going on upcoming? Anything that you could tell us? Any updates on dope flavors? Anything you want to share with the people?
For sure. Shout out to everybody showing us all the love and support this last couple years. Dope Flavors is founded since 2019 as far as a brand. Shout out, big love, and big shout out to the team. You guys know who you are. Big shout out to everybody that's showing love and support to the team all throughout California. We on schedule and we drop it in February.
Dropping in February.
That's our goal. Like we're really coordinating and really just trying to execute these moves to dropping at the right places. We come with SKUs. We'll have infused pre-rolls. We'll have concentrates, and we will have flour. So we're gonna try to touch all bases when it comes to the market. Also merch. Look out for the Dope Flavor shop. It's coming online. Dope. Hopefully have some pop-ups to where you get some exclusive merch at drops at certain locations, whether it's restaurants or whether it's other local businesses. We'll buy them out, and if you come buy a T-shirt, boom, get you some free tacos, get you a smash burger, drop a little, you feel me? Yep, Dope Flavors is in motion, in production, dropping next month. I want to share too, also with the Moon of Abundance, which is also my stone and gem spiritual healing shop online. We gonna be selling. Well, first off, we got a candle line. Dope. So go check out the candles, man. Infused candles. We got small and we got triple wickers. But also too, we thinking about CMOS, bro. So not just us preparing it, especially in light of COVID right now, but we're gonna start distributing just raw CMOS. And what we're gonna do is gonna put a sticker label on it. We're gonna put a QR code that is give you some education on the benefits of CMOS, consuming CMOS, different ways to prepare it.
Yeah,
my girl Tanya, she pretty much made a YouTube video on how she prepares it. So you're gonna have access to all that, and you'll get that QR code, all those on every single bag, and we'll be sending that too.
That's fire, man. That's what you call the old meets the new. You know what I'm saying? You got CMOS and wellness and gems and things that have been used for throughout time. And then now you got it with the QR code so that you could actually show people how to actually correctly use these things, which is, I'm big on that. I'm big on, the wellness. I'm big on the health vibe. And it's important also to show people, because a lot of times things that encourage people is they just don't know how.
Exactly.
They don't have the information. And they don't know where to start, you know. And if you have somewhere centralized, somewhere where they could go and actually see it, a video or something, especially with the products, I think that's dope. I don't think there's too many people doing that at all, where the product has an actual QR code where you could go and look up everything on it, whatever you might need, preparation, how it's done, all the good stuff, the benefits of it, which I think that's fire.
For sure.
Shout out Dope Flavors, man. We appreciate that. We, you know what I mean, this the put you up on game segment. We definitely had to let you guys know fully legitimized entrepreneurship is happening out here right now. Bundy is definitely doing his cannabis.
One more thing. Part of just leaving this segment, Dope Flavors is also putting out a music project.
Definitely.
You know, and it's gonna be timed around the same time we're dropping in stores. So definitely look out for that. Shout out Filmz. Me and him teamed up on that, making some good music. And it's not just music. You know what? We got poetry in there too, bro. Like we got a bunch of different things, and I feel like the culture could really appreciate something different.
It's not just music; it's an audio experience. You feel me? So that's dope, man. Shout out Dope Flavor. Shout out everything you guys got going on, man. I'm really a fan, bro. I appreciate what you're doing, because from our last conversation, you know, I know that it's not just, you know, what's on the surface. You know, there's like we were talking earlier, a lot of the things you do has meaning to it, and it's for the benefit of not only yourself but other people, you know, for anybody that's willing to take a listen and observe. So that's dope.
We want to inspire, bro. We want people to come up with their own sauce and do their own thing and just be inspired to go above and beyond and advance and strive for the betterment of them, their family, their businesses, whatever, what have you.
And just the overall culture and the vibe out here. You know, the more people that you have in a better state of mind, financial as well as you know, just physically and mentally, you know, the better the quality of your community becomes. You know what I mean?
For sure.
You know, if I tell people, you know, it's one thing we go pass out coats and do coat drives and stuff like that. That helps a lot. But it's also like, what else are you putting behind that? You got to give people the education. You got to give people a hope. You got to set examples for them to know that it's possible. You know, those are very much important. I know you and me and a lot of other people done had guys that we done looked up to and we're like, yo, you're the shit. And maybe they weren't always the best type of people, but they showed us things and they showed us how to become better at whatever it is that we were trying to do at the moment, and just become better people. You know, you can't knock somebody because the way they live. There's a lot of good people that are not really living the best, and that's because they, you know, for whatever reason, they feel that that's their only choice. You know what I'm saying? I was very much taught a lot of good things by a lot of bad people, and it was my experience is to pass that on to help break that cycle of, you know, hopelessness or not thinking that they could do anything more than what it is. You gotta have options out there.
What are you putting out into the universe? What are you putting out into your community? What are you putting out into your family and into your circle amongst your peers? Is it positive? Is it negative? You know, take a step back and really just, you know, but it's not all about you at the end of the day. It's what you're spreading and what you're putting out there too. Most
definitely, and I think I mean, more than anything, I like fucking with any kind of products and people that are in that state of mind. It's like, we get it. This is yours. You're gonna get yours no matter what. You're gonna make your thing, but for you to have some kind of substance and be able to give more to the people besides just the product. You know what I mean? You're giving them the education. They're getting the CMOS. They're getting the wellness. They're gonna get the stuff that benefits themselves, but it's also giving them something that they could pass on. They could share with somebody else. They could help educate somebody and bring them into maybe a healthier lifestyle.
For sure.
Or mind and body. So that's dope. Shout out Dope Flavors. Like I said, the project's coming. Shout out Fangers with the Bangers. You already know it's been moving. Everything has been very, very much very activated in this 2022. As far as me, with everything we got going on, we're going to be doing a lot of casting calls. I don't really want to say too much. We're keeping a lid on what we got going on, but we're definitely, that's all you got to know. It's dope. But we definitely got some things going on. Shout out Bro Jackson. We've been doing a lot of casting calls, so be on the lookout for some fresh, new, different type of content coming out. We got an upcoming, so we're doing a sesh for Half's record release. His record's been out for a while, but we've had issues with the locations that we're trying to pull off. But we are definitely got a sesh coming up, so I'm gonna keep all my people posted. You know, I get a lot of plays out here in the Bay Area is my hot spot, but we do get around all over. So shout out, you know, places like France. Shout out Amsterdam and the Netherlands. They've been rocking with us really tough out there. I'm sure they like to hear all the crazy shit that we be saying.
Shout out Half.
Man, shout out Half, shout out everybody, and we're gonna keep it moving. You know what I mean? We're gonna take a quick break. This is No Invite. We'll be back in a minute. Bang, we back. No Invite Podcast Season 3. The progression. I think I said the level up earlier, y'all, so forgive me. You know what I mean? Your boy smokes a little bit of weed, so I forget shit. So, but yes, Season 3, the progression. We got Bundy from Dope Flavors in here. Once again, appreciate you for stopping by, carving out your time. I know you're always moving and grooving, so it's definitely a blessing to be able to sit down and conversate with you. And we're going to get into the main topic, and the main topic is something that you brought up to me earlier that I never really heard about until right now. Yeah, I never heard that term, at least. You were talking about the red wave.
Yeah. That's something I just...
We're not talking about the girls' period and shit like that. We're talking about, you know what I'm saying? Talking about red wave.
It's something new that I just keep hearing nowadays, like, the red wave, like, states. And this all has to do with voting, you know. Go out and vote, first and foremost. Like, voting is very important. You want to vote the right politicians. You want to vote the right policy makers into local offices, for sure, Congress, into Senate, you know, governors, because these are the people that are going to be making the tax laws. These are the people that are going to be making the laws to where you have to abide by within your state, within your city, and things like that. And even though these aren't presidential elections, I think these are midterms. So that's what they call them. And that's the most important part. It's like you have to go out there and vote, like I said. And these are your representatives that deal directly with you. This isn't the president who doesn't deal directly with you. Senators really don't deal directly with you. It's more like your congressman. So yeah, definitely go out there and vote. Educate yourself on voting. Educate yourself on the history, on how we got our rights to vote. But what I've been hearing about lately is just the red wave, just the states flipping over from being blue, which is Democrat, flipping to red, which is Republican. And when it comes to kind of deciphering between the two, Democrat and Republican, to me, it's just like, you know, different gangs. You know, it's classifying themselves as, you know, but this is politically correct, you know, what our country does. But when we do it in our communities and the streets, we're labeled gang members, like crews and cliques and gangs or whatever. Sure. But it's the same concept. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear red wave, it's like, you know, people are sick and tired of, you know, far left laws, far left policies, especially, you know, with COVID, with vaccination mandates. You know, people don't like the censorship they're seeing on YouTube or Twitter, especially when it's, you know, everything on YouTube, Twitter, IG kind of favors the left, which is Democrat. Yeah. And if you follow the money, you see that these are the people that are pretty much paying each other. It's like, look, we have lobbyists from YouTube. We got lobbyists from networks that are, you know, pretty much in cahoots or in bed financially with Democratic members. And then you see on the right side, which is the red, that these people are getting banned from Twitter. These people and their interviews are getting taken off of YouTube. So a lot of people are seeing these type of tactics and strategies on the media. So what they're doing is, you know, they may have had left or Democratic views like I did. You know, I was all, you know, back before the craziness started happening or when I was incarcerated or even before that. Like, I considered myself, I guess when I turned 18, I'm a Democrat. Like, oh, okay, you know, I'm more liberal or I'm more left leaning because these are the representatives, these are the politicians that have our best interests or are fighting for our best interests, supposedly. You feel me? But if you actually see the back end and how politics work, not all of them have your best interests or are really fighting for those policies, you know, whether it's your president, whether it's your senator or your congressman or your governor. First. It's business first, profit first, streams of revenue first. So that's why I wanted to brush up on, and, you know, you hear that a lot, the red wave, because people are migrating from New York. You know, they have the harshest vaccination requirements in New York, in California. You know, it's expensive to live there. There's more taxes upon those type of populations. Definitely. So they're moving into it's the red wave. They're moving into different states that are red, that have less restrictions, that have less regulation. And it's more like a more normal living, more normal way of life over there. So people are migrating out of these states. And then that right there could, it could affect the voting, obviously.
It could affect the voting. It definitely affects your environment. Yeah, I mean, when I look at California and New York and certain states, especially like when you're on the coast, they're valuable. The real estate is valuable, and they know that, and they understand that. So they have way different standards than everybody else, and it doesn't mean that anywhere else is any less of value. It's just that the government, the economy, and things like that hold them to a different type of value because of their importance. Obviously, the coast, shipping, all kinds of stuff that comes into effect. So, I noticed it too. I noticed it, and maybe not just so much from that point, but just from people talking. You know what I mean? People moving. I know people that have moved from here to there to different states, Texas, you name it, Florida, and it's because of the same thing. It's so the politics are almost so ridiculous sometimes in these certain states that people just want to go somewhere where, like you said, it's more simpler. You know what I mean? It's more of a normal way instead of simpler, more of a normal way of living. And, at the end of the day, people really just want to get back to normality, you know what I mean? Or whatever, or whatever they figure they thought it was, what normalcy was, this corona shit, the vaccines, everything, it's like it's been politicized, and it's just it really does affect, like, people don't think that it affects like things like the price of cereal or this and that. It does. All this stuff has an effect on the economy, and that effect on the economy has an effect on us as people, and in turn we have an effect on that too, because then we're wanting to move, we want to leave, the gas prices, whatever the case might be. And
or the flip side to that is, going along with the red wave, is like you have so many people that can't migrate out of California because we're so dependent here. We're stuck here. We don't have, we're so overtaxed in this state, or even like in New York, or to where, you can't move, you can't migrate. So with that, you're going to have a lot of people voting the other way because they notice that staying in a Democratic state, having Democratic politicians, they're in favor for these type of taxes. They're in favor for what they got going on. And just because it's not going, favoring you as a people, even though they're trying or claiming that they're trying to help you or they're fighting for you, it's like, you could be voting way different now. You could be voting red because now you don't like the way blue or Democrats or liberals are doing their policy in California. Now it's like, man, well, I'm going to vote this way now. So I'm going to vote red. I'm going to vote right. I'm going to vote Republican, because now now you're seeing, like with the media, you're seeing both sides. Like CNN is more left Democratic leaning, and then Fox News is more toward the right. So now people are seeing two sides going at it. And then people are experiencing those policies and those views,
and they're starting to take sides.
And they start to pick sides instead of unifying. They're just creating that divide. Yeah,
and it's important. A lot of people don't know that. Like I said, we said it earlier. It's like the power is definitely in the people. They with numbers. There's a reason why they campaign for you. There's a reason why they want your vote. There's a reason why they go out and they tell you these promises, and they tell you their policies or what they intend to do, because at the end of the day, they need that. And I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole deep thing, because a lot of people are like, elections don't matter, it's all rigged. It's like, look, whether they do and they don't, we really don't know. But the fact of the matter is that you as a person do have an influence on the law, the way the laws can be passed, and the things around you, if you choose to vote and actually go out and do stuff that it does matter. So it's wild. It's definitely a different time. I've never seen it like this before. Never, especially with the migration, like you said, because it's obvious. You got people from Texas posting up like, "We full over here. Stop coming over here." And it's like, yo, I get it. You know what I mean? The red wave is real, y'all. Make sure that you guys are doing what your part. Whether you vote right or left or whatever you vote for, make sure that you're voting for your interest. Stop voting for popularity.
What really got my attention though with that is just first off, I think politics at the end of the day is war without bloodshed. And I want to say it was Huey P. who said that, or somebody within the Black Panther Party, and it's right. But what I don't like nowadays is that, you have censorship And I like to see both sides because I'm not just one-sided. Yeah, I'm not just tunnel vision. I want to see what the left got to say. I want to see what the right got to say.
So you can sort it out.
And I want to see what the people in the middle got to say. And I want to see what the independent journalists and the independent news got to say because they're going to bust out both sides. And that's the way you got to think. That's the way you got to digest and research information. So, and it will help you with a better understanding. So that's just what I want to kind of close with that.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's the thing. It's like, if we're going by what the fundamentals of this country was founded on, you got to have that. You got to have some sort of, everything can't be biased. You know what I'm saying? You got to have it got to be an objective opinion about everything. You know, that doesn't mean that you constantly have to be the contrarian and always arguing everything, but you're well within your right to question stuff. You're well within your rights. Like, hey, I want to vote for this Democratic mayor, but I want a Republican senator. You got to vote for your interests more than anything. You got to make sure that you're doing things that it's going to be beneficial to yourself and not just following the wave, not just voting for people blindly because you feel like they're going to do this or that.
Who really has your best interests? Who's really fighting for you?
What's
Who
going to
can
be
you hold
beneficial?
accountable? Who
Exactly.
can you hold accountable at the end of the day as well?
Exactly. Who's going to do the best thing for your environment? You got to affect your environment first. You can't expect change if you are not first committed to change. But not only that, but also changing your environment. It starts with your neighborhood. It starts with your circle. I tell people all the time, like, yo, if you want to get upset about how things are going and not going and what people are not doing, start within your community first. Yep. Do things for your community to help better your community. If you could spread education, if you could spread any kind of positivity and actually create any kind of opportunities for the people in your community, and your community starts flourishing, then you could then take it to the next level. Now, okay, we all want to vote in blocks, like how they say we're gonna go vote. Now my community is strong, my community is this, we're gonna try to get the best mayor in office.
Find out who on the city council oversees your district, because that's how they work. The city council has districts, the county got districts, your state congressman got districts within the state.
It's all a chain of command.
And you can contact them. You can harass them. You can let them know, like, hey, this ain't right, or hey, this is my idea. Public comments and everything like that. And it's like you can do this. And
it's accountability, y'all. They have to be accountable for shit too. I know it seems like you might think that they're untouchable or can't nobody fade them, and that's actually incorrect.
You vote them out.
You could vote them out. And one thing more than anything, any of those motherfuckers, they want to keep the position where they're at. So they're gonna do what they can to appease the people within their sections or in their districts. So you gotta. It's all about. More importantly, I stress on this podcast is people, please educate yourselves.
Yes,
educate yourself in whatever. I'm not telling you to go be a fucking brainiac, brain surgeon or nothing like that. But when it comes to the interests that pertain to you, your family, your well-being, educate yourself about them. Yep. You know, what you eat. You know, what kind of schools, what kind of, you said, people that are running my district, what kind of people are running my county, my city. These things are important. You know, you're like I said, if you don't think your vote matters, it's only because it's not your vote ain't organized.
And then there you go. This is why midterm vote is so important, because in the midterms, these are the people we're voting for. These are the politicians that are contending and in contention to get your vote, to be elected, to be reelected. And if they ain't doing their job, you got to hold them accountable. And that's by voting them out or voting for them.
And that fear of them losing their position is what's going to make them fall in line. So if they don't feel like there's any opposition or anybody stopping what they got going on, they're going to continue to if they're the wrong person, they're going to continue to exploit and fucking profit and not really have your interest at heart. So it's all on the people. It's just a little bit of pimping, y'all. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
A little bit of pimping. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? They tell you the right things. You might get with it. You might not. You know
for sure.
But you know, it's reality. I joke, but it's really real. You know what I mean? Dope Flavors in the building. Knowing by podcast season 3, the level up, man. Anything you want to say to anybody? Any shout outs? Anybody you want to holler at? Or anything like that?
I think I pretty much covered everything with the
put you up on game. Yeah,
put you up on game. But just to reiterate, you know, I appreciate you having me on the No Invite.
Anytime, bro.
Man, anytime I'll pull up. We can debate. We could talk. You know, whatever you got to guess is good, man. I'm a big fan of podcasts like this, whether it's Joe Rogan, whether it's Tim Pool, or you know, you got comedians doing comedy now. I mean, doing podcasts now. Shout out to the team. Shout out to my folks, the family and friends who supported me, my movement. Go vote. Midterms.
Go vote,
up,
man. Go vote, man. And for all you hoes out there, get to dig out your throat and go vote.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yes, shout out to Bundy, man. Thank you so much. Like I said once again, bro, we are very, very much supportive of what you do here. We are very happy and very, very much excited for all the things that you got coming up. It's always good to be able to just to be able to have a platform for you to and anybody else to come and give their opinions, their thoughts, and show the rest of us out here that we got things going on. It ain't just one-sided. You can be successful. There is people out there that look like you, that act like you, that talk like you, that are in these fields, in these arenas, and they're actually pushing and making things possible for people like you and me. You know what I mean? So always keep that in mind. This is the No Invite Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at no_invite_podcast. You can also follow us. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at RiBirth Media Films. That's RiBirth Media Films with a Z. Of course, you know, you can find us on all your favorite podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, wherever you get your issue. Make sure that you follow us there, subscribe to us, leave a rating, review, slander us in the comments. It's all good. You know what I mean? We're definitely not sensitive. So if you feel like we said something wrong or I pissed you off, feel free to let me know. I don't think that it's going to stop me from doing what I'm doing, but I will take it into consideration because, you know, I'm all about my fans. I'm all about the audience. Stay tuned. We got a lot of dope things coming up, man. This is just the beginning, you know what I'm saying? No Invite Podcast, and we are officially out.
Yes, sir.